Most beginner gardeners make the same mistake. They plant vegetables, wait for them to grow, harvest once or twice, and then suddenly the production slows down or stops completely. At that point, the garden starts feeling empty, like all the effort was just for a short reward. But in reality, not all vegetables behave like that. Some plants are designed to keep producing continuously throughout the season. You don't need to replant them again and again. You just harvest, care for them a little, and they keep giving food for weeks or even months. In this video, we're going to go through 12 vegetables that keep producing all season long. These are perfect if you want a garden that feels alive, productive, and rewarding for a long time, instead of just a short burst. Tomatoes. Tomatoes are one of the most reliable long-season producers, especially indeterminate varieties. Unlike plants that produce once and stop, indeterminate tomatoes keep growing, flowering, and fruiting at the same time. That means while you are picking ripe tomatoes, new flowers are already forming above. The secret to keeping them productive is simple: consistent watering, sunlight, and regular harvesting. If you leave overripe fruits on the plant, it slows down production, so picking often actually helps more tomatoes grow. In a good season, a single plant can keep producing for months. Zucchini. Zucchini is almost famous for one thing: how fast and how much it produces. Once the plant reaches maturity, it starts producing continuously. You might check your garden in the morning and find a small zucchini, and just a couple of days later, it can double or triple in size. The key is harvesting it young. The more you pick, the more the plant produces. If you let zucchini grow too large, the plant thinks it has completed its job and slows down. With just 1 or 2 healthy plants, you can get a surprisingly large harvest every week during peak season. Spinach. Spinach is one of the best examples of a cut-and-come-again vegetable. Instead of pulling out the entire plant, you only harvest the outer leaves. The center stays alive and keeps producing new growth. This method allows one spinach plant to give multiple harvests over time. It's especially useful in small gardens where space is limited, because a few plants can provide a steady supply of fresh greens. Green beans. Green beans, especially pole beans, are excellent long producers when supported properly. These vines grow upward and keep producing flowers along the stems. Every time you harvest mature pods, the plant responds by producing more. Pole beans can continue producing for several weeks, sometimes even longer in ideal conditions, making them one of the most efficient climbing vegetables. Lettuce. Lettuce is often thought of as a one-time harvest crop, but that depends on how you pick it. If you harvest the whole plant, it's done. But if you use the outer leaf method, where you take only the outer leaves and leave the center intact, the plant keeps growing. This turns lettuce into a continuous harvest crop for a much longer time than most people expect. Chili peppers. Chili pepper plants are surprisingly long-lived producers. Once they start flowering, they can continue producing peppers steadily for a long period, especially in warm weather. Unlike fast crops, they don't rush. They build production slowly but consistently. A single healthy plant can produce dozens of chilies across the season, sometimes even more if conditions stay stable. Cucumbers. Cucumbers are fast-growing vines that can produce continuously in warm weather. Once the plant is established, it keeps producing flowers and fruit as long as it has support, water, and nutrients. Vertical growth systems help improve production because the plant has more space to spread. Regular picking is important because it encourages new cucumbers to form. Kale. Kale is one of the most resilient leafy greens you can grow. Instead of harvesting the whole plant at once, you can simply pick the older leaves from the bottom while leaving the center to keep producing fresh growth. This cut-and-come-again method allows you to enjoy harvests for weeks or even months. Kale also handles cooler temperatures extremely well, and in many gardens its leaves become even sweeter after a light frost, making it one of the longest-lasting vegetables of the season. Eggplant. Eggplant may take a little longer to get established, but once it begins producing, it can provide a steady harvest throughout the warm months. Picking the fruits while they're still glossy and firm encourages the plant to continue flowering and setting new fruit. With plenty of sunlight, consistent watering, and regular harvesting, a healthy eggplant can keep producing until cooler temperatures arrive. making it a rewarding crop for patient gardeners. Radishes are one of the fastest and simplest crops you can grow. They don't need much space, and they grow quickly, often ready in just a few weeks. This makes them perfect for beginners because you don't have to wait long to see results. Another advantage is that radishes are not very demanding. As long as they get some sunlight and regular watering, they usually grow without much trouble. Carrots are simple in terms of care, but they do require loose soil to grow properly. Once planted, they don't need much attention besides watering. They grow underground, so you don't have to deal with many pests or surface problems. They take a bit longer than radishes, but they are still considered beginner-friendly because of their low-maintenance nature. Potatoes are one of the easiest crops for beginners because you don't even need seeds to get started. Just a potato with a few healthy eyes or sprouts. Plant it in loose, well-draining soil and gradually mound more soil around the stems as the plant grows. They don't require constant care, making them a great choice if you're still learning the basics of gardening. With regular watering and plenty of sunlight, the plants will quietly develop potatoes underground. After a few months, you can dig them up and enjoy a satisfying harvest. It's always exciting to uncover fresh potatoes from the soil, making this one of the most rewarding vegetables for first-time gardeners. If you're completely new to gardening, the key is not to start with difficult plants. Start with crops that are forgiving, fast-growing, and simple to maintain. Once you get a few successful harvests, everything else in gardening starts to make more sense. These easy crops give you that first confidence, and from there, you can slowly move to more advanced plants.